The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery. Episode 30. Three fierce wolves formed a fan shape, surrounding Liao Fengyi and Old Dao in the middle, their eyes glowing green, staring at them menacingly. Old Dao, be extra careful. This creature is extremely agile and cunning. Don't worry about me, you. I'm afraid I can't protect you. Just go ahead and do it. Liao Fengyi, gripping his treasured sword, wasn't afraid, but it's hard to fight four hands with two. He was afraid that he might not be able to protect Old Dao if he lost his focus. Just when Liao Fengyi was anxious, he suddenly heard Ahu squeaking from behind. When he turned around, he saw Ahu pointing at a crack at the base of the cliff, making gestures. It was clear what it meant. There was a place to hide. At this moment, the three fierce wolves had lost their patience, growling and charging at them. Old Dao, you go hide first. This is a dead end. Liao Fengyi really didn't want to hide in the small dark hole again, fearing another accident, but there was no other way at this moment. He could only let Old Dao squeeze into the mountain crevice first and confront the danger outside. Rest assured, I won't let these creatures get in. The crevice in the mountain was not deep, but it was a good temporary shelter. Liao Fengyi, with no worries, stood in front of the crevice with his treasured sword. Where would these three fierce wolves give Liao Fengyi a chance to catch his breath? As soon as Liao Fengyi's words fell, the leading wolf leaped into the air. But with the experience of dealing with the previous monster wolf, Liao Fengyi quickly pulled off his outer garment and started to swing it. With the movement of this outer garment, the monster wolf's vision was blocked and it lunged straight at Liao Fengyi. As the outer garment swished in front of them, the monster wolf was now less than 2 feet from Liao Fengyi. But what awaited the monster wolf was death. Liao Fengyi, with a swing of his treasured sword, immediately chopped off the entire head of the wolf. With one swing of the sword, the head of the monster wolf was cut off, which also deterred the other two fierce wolves. They circled around Liao Fengyi, constantly growling but not rushing up. It's not that they were afraid, but these monster wolves were exceptionally cunning. At this moment, they attacked Liao Fengyi from the left and right as if they had agreed upon it. Liao Fengyi knew that these monster wolves were trying to attack him from both sides. He cursed in his heart. Without waiting for the fierce wolf to pounce, he proactively attacked one of them. He swung his outer garment to block its vision, and then the treasured sword in his other hand quickly swung out. With this slash, the head of that fierce wolf was immediately cut off and flung away. At this moment, there was a gust of fishy wind at the back of Liao Fengyi's head. Even without looking back, he could guess. Sure enough, another fierce wolf had pounced on his back. At this point, it was too late to turn around. In a moment of urgency, Liao Fengyi smartly lowered his body to let the pouncing wolf pass him. Then he swung his outer garment up, covering the fierce wolf's sight. After throwing off the outer garment, a sharp treasured sword swung down immediately with a gust of wind. The force of this sword was full. It was directly slashed at the face of the fierce wolf, only to hear a crisp sound of bone and metal collision. Then the wolf's body was cleaved in half by Liao Fengyi. The last monster wolf was also killed. Liao Fengyi heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. They had finally not become the food for these wolves. But just at this moment, a sudden sense of danger came from behind him. The danger came extremely quickly. Before Liao Fengyi could react and turn his head, he was heavily hit. Kid. This sudden hit not only caught Liao Fengyi off guard, but it also scared Old Dao and Ahu, who had been watching the battle from behind. Luckily, Liao Fengyi was a capable person. When he felt the dangerous aura approaching, he hurriedly held his treasured sword behind him. But because the attack from behind was too strong, his body was abruptly thrown forward. At this time, Liao Fengyi realized that the person attacking him from behind was the man who had controlled the monster wolves. He jumped down from the cliff and directly attacked his back, but he didn't see any weapons in his hands. What was it that attacked him? Liao Fengyi didn't have time to take a closer look at this moment, and while his body was falling forward, he tried his best to stabilize himself. Old Dao, however, saw it clearly from the side. Turns out, one of the legs of that demon man was a huge cone for some reason. Liao Fengyi took several steps forward before stabilizing his body, and then immediately looked back. "You dare to kill my 4 brothers." This guy was probably so angry because the monster wolves he controlled were all killed. He held such hatred for Liao Fengyi that he started an ambush from the back. "I will tear you to pieces." He clearly had deep feelings with these monster wolves. His forehead veins were bulging at this time. His eyes were full of bloodshot. And then he howled at Liao Fengyi like a wolf. "Die." What Liao Fengyi didn't expect was that this guy actually had a demonic leg. With one strike, the demonic leg transformed into a huge wolf and pounced on Liao Fengyi. The monstrous wolf formed by the demonic leg had a huge mouth as tall as a person, and its speed was astonishingly fast. The changes in front of him were not only bizarre, but also terrifying. If it were an ordinary person, they would have been scared to their feet. But Liao Fengyi, full of skills, lacked only practice and combat experience. Having fought with a puppeteer before, he had some understanding of demonic limbs, so he didn't show any panic. Liao Fengyi focused on the pouncing demonic wolf, swung his outer garment, and turned it into a long rope. Then with a flick of his hand, he wrapped up the pouncing wolf's head and then quickly avoided the attack with a sidestep. Then, taking advantage of the force of the demonic wolf rushing past, his body also shot into the air. He tightly grasped the long rope formed by the outer garment in one hand, and the treasured sword in his other hand was also ready. He seized the opportunity, let go of the rope, held the sword in both hands, and slashed at the wolf-controlling demon in the air. The sturdy demonic leg was cut off at the root by the sharp treasured sword. After the demonic leg was cut off, the body of the wolf-controlling demon lost balance. He instantly lost his combat power and fell to the ground. "I will not let you go, unless you kill me." However, this demon was very temperamental, and even at this time, he was still full of harsh words. It seemed that he was not afraid of life or death. "Kill you? I'm not interested." Liao Fengyi walked up to him with his treasured sword. For this kind of evil person who had lost his combat ability, he really disdained to kill. "You have committed so many evil deeds, you will be punished by heaven. If you want revenge, I am always ready." Liao Fengyi turned around, picked up his coat, and coldly threw a sentence at the man. "Kid, you should have killed him. Otherwise, it will cause trouble in the future." Turning his head, he called to the old Taoist to leave. But the old Taoist thought that Liao Fengyi was raising a tiger to invite trouble. As the two were talking, they suddenly felt a violent tremor in the valley, and thought to themselves, "This is not good." The vibration came from above them, so they looked up towards the cliff. Little did they know, a man in black had been watching them from above for a long time. Seeing that they were about to leave, he made his move. This person plunged one of his pitch-black hands into the rock of the mountain wall, and immediately a huge crack burst open along his hand. The cliff was steep, and this action immediately shattered a corner of the cliff. Big and small stones fell from the cliff. At this moment, Liao Fengyi and the old Taoist were just below the cliff. How could they avoid this? Could it be that they just escaped from the wolves only to enter into another danger zone?